Hi, my Scorpio friends. Welcome to the November 2024 monthly reading. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a really powerful month, especially for Scorpios. First, I'd like to say this is going to be a Western tropical astrology reading with using whole sign houses. And it is best if your rising sign is Scorpio. You can use this for sun sign as well, but it's not going to be as accurate as it will be if if Scorpio is your rising sign. The month is going to start out with a powerful Scorpio new moon in your sign, in your first house. And that's going to be on November 1st. And then we'll also have a Pluto Mars opposition. And since Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, modern day ruler of Scorpio, uh, that makes this Pluto Mars opposition even more powerful and be connected somewhat with the new moon. So that's something to keep in mind. And the Pluto Mars opposition is going to be, probably not something that feels good while it's happening. It can cause anger, frustration, and it can really intensify anything that Mars does, which is aggression, anger, um, even violence. So it's really important at this time not to start any arguments and, to walk away from anything because it can get much more blown out of proportion than you ever imagined and much more intense. Even if something you didn't mean to negatively, somebody might take it that way, and then things can really get blown out of proportion. So be very careful with that. But keep in mind that all this stuff that's happening in Scorpio is really all about transformation, or with Pluto, it's all about transformation. And the first step for any transformation is to let go of what is not serving us anymore so that we can create this transformation or bring in this transformation. And if we ignore what we need to transform at this point, it's just going to make things harder for us, especially with Pluto going into Aquarius. If we don't do the transformation in the beginning, it's just going to keep hitting us with difficult things until we actually do what we need to do to bring on that transformation and to change things where they need to be changed in our life. Now this Pluto Mars opposition is going to be happening two more times after this. So it's going to happen 3 times total. And the first time it will happen in with Pluto in Capricorn and Mars in Cancer. The next 2 times it's going to be happening with Pluto in Aquarius and Mars in Leo. And since Mars is retrograding, that's why we're having these 3 oppositions, because the Mars retrograde will bring in, it's gonna keep going over that Pluto opposition multiple times while it's retrograding. And it does go retrograde in December. So then at the same time that this Pluto Mars opposition is happening this time, we're going to have Mercury in Scorpio trine Mars and sextile Pluto, which can, bring in some relief with this energy, especially, in the way of like communication. That might help the situation, especially if the communication is not aggravated itself, that can really help whatever situations come up with this Pluto Mars opposition. And then Jupiter will sextile Chiron on November 1st as well. And that can help us heal wounds around work, health, or pets, or service to others, daily routines. And this is something that we will have to initiate, though. Then Mercury will go into Sagittarius on November 2nd, and that could bring in the communications or messages around finances. Then Venus in Sagittarius will trine Chiron in Aries on November 5th. And that can bring in healing around health, work, service to others again, and pets, daily routines. And then Venus will oppose Jupiter in Gemini on the same date. So November 5th actually is probably going to be the day we might see as most positive for the whole month. It might feel that way. It's going to make us really a lot more hopeful and probably joyful and hopeful. But we just have to be careful that we don't spend too much on that day, because sometimes the Jupiter Venus opposition can bring a little bit of extravagance or overindulgence. And then Venus will square Neptune on November 9th. And so there might be something that is hidden from you, or you just are not able to see when it comes to finances. So keep that in mind. And then Venus will go into Capricorn on November 11th. And that can bring, a lot of pleasure and enjoyment around your neighborhood, your siblings, or transportation or cars, or trucks, or whatever your mode of transportation is. And then Mercury will square Saturn on November 12th. And that can bring, like difficulties or blockages or things like that around money and finances. And then on the 14th, Venus will square North Node in Aries, and that can help bring difficulties in or it could just bring some kind of difficulties around being able to follow the path that we want to follow in life, the path that we are most enthusiastic about. Whatever we enjoy doing the most usually is what our fated path is. And we usually do a lot better with things that we really love doing rather than just working a job that we don't even like, obviously. And then Mars will trine the North Node, and that can bring motivation around health and work and pets, daily routines. Then the Taurus full moon on November 15th can bring unexpected changes or surprises around relationships and or business partners. But the moon is conjunct this Taurus full moon. That's why it could bring in unexpected things, because with Uranus, we really don't know what to expect. Even if we think we do, it's usually a surprise. And then on November 18th, the sun will square Neptune, and that could bring a focus or shine a light on things that we were not aware of around children or love relationships. And then on the 18th, Mercury is going to trine Chiron, and that can help us heal wounds around work or health. Also, through communication or messages. On November 19th, Pluto will go back into Aquarius. Now, Pluto has been going back and forth between Aquarius and Capricorn for almost 2 years, and after the 19th, it will not go back into Capricorn again. So This is our kind of a last chance to get things right. In the area of neighborhood, siblings, transportation. And then when Pluto goes into Aquarius, it's gonna, the focus of our transformation is likely to be around home, family, and our roots. Sometimes our parents. And then on November 19th, also, the sun will trine Mars. And that can bring a focus on career and public image. And it can also help motivate us to make changes or do things that we need to do in our career or to focus on that. And on November 21st, the sun will sextile Pluto, and that can bring hidden things to light around our neighborhood, siblings, transportation, and sometimes other distant relatives. And then on the same day, Venus will sextile Saturn, and that can help stabilize things around a neighborhood, siblings, and transportation again. And then Mercury goes retrograde in Sagittarius on November 25th. Now, a retrograde is basically when a planet appears to be going backwards in the sky, even though it's not really going backwards, it just appears to us that it is from our perspective. And when it goes retrograde on the 25th, it will go back to the place that it was on November 9th. And then when it turns around to go direct again on the 15th, it will be at that place it was on November 9th. And so basically it's going to be going back over that spot from where it is on November 25th to where it is on the 9th 3 times. And so that means whatever we're doing in that area, which is finances, and what we value and our possessions, that means we might have to be adjusting or redoing or rethinking or reworking whatever we did in that area. But since November 9th. And that's pretty much all I have for the month of November. But please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And visit my website at logicalastrology.com. And you can book a personal reading with me there, or I also have lots of free stuff like astrology reading, monthly astrology readings and weekly astrology readings that are pretty detailed. I tell you the dates of everything, when you're gonna feel all these energies and that kind of thing. So check it out, logicalastrology.com, and I will see you next month and have a great rest of your month.